Birdland a little bit is all over the place because of the news of Jackson Holliday. And I thought you actually are a perfect guy to bring on for this topic at this time, because we're having the conversation of spring trainings and you've been around a ton. Can you just touch a little bit on how when certain guys, decisions that need to be made, sometimes decisions are kind of already pre-decided or guys that are going to be on the team. It seems like that they already had a plan for a guy like Jackson Holliday, regardless of this decision that was made today.
I agree. I think a guy like Jackson, who's an all-world prospect, even though he had a tremendous spring, you can see that he is just about big league ready. I think they wanted to make sure that maybe he gets some at-bats down in AAA, make sure he kind of starts out hot. And then whenever he is ready to go, he'll get called up. Obviously, he will be a big leaguer this season. So I know a lot of the Oriole fans are a little disappointed, but I think this is the best for Jackson. I think if he starts the year in AAA, there's a whole lot less pressure on him when he does eventually get called up and make his major league debut, instead of making the open day roster and he's starting day one. So I think this is best for Jackson. We know that he comes from a tremendous family, the Holliday family. So I know he's disappointed, but for him, I think it is the best, because this young man's going to be a star. And then obviously from the front office perspective, I'm sure they probably don't want to start his clock. That's always an aspect of it because he's going to be a special player.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And I saw someone make a comment, you don't have to be on the roster on opening day. Everyone's worried about him winning the Rookie of the Year. But personally, if you don't start the year in the big leagues as a rookie and it's a month or 2 months go by, it's going to make it more challenging. Not that Jackson can't win Rookie of the Year. And obviously, if the Orioles star prospect wins Rookie of the Year, then the Orioles get a draft pick and he gets the service time. Is that correct? Am I right with that thought process?
Yes.
Yeah. Perfect. One follow-up question, Jerry, then we'll go around the panel here because I know some guys have some other questions. Just enlighten people a little bit on the spring training hitter going into the season. So my dad and I have had a long conversation about this where he felt like he could hit everything sometimes in spring training, and all of a sudden he goes into the season and he's like, what the hell happened? Why can't I hit anything? Can you just give context to people of trying to prepare for a season, but spring training success doesn't necessarily mean or correlate to the regular season, and even your own personal experiences? Because you told me before, 15 seasons? Am I wrong with that?
16.
Oh, yeah. Oh, sorry, Jerry.
Doing him dirty. Don't sell him short, Ryan.
Wow.
Go ahead, Jerry.
So your dad, Cal, said, sometimes you have good spring training, sometimes bad, get to the regular season. And your dad's a Hall of Famer. How do you think I felt? Right? You know what? I never thought that spring training numbers didn't really correlate to the regular season. It's a different ballgame. I think you look for flashes and how they look, their swing in spring training, hard contact. I think numbers sometimes in spring training can be overinflated. Sometimes guys are facing a guy that's going to be an A ball in AA, in AAA. You're not facing that ace. If you do face that ace, it's probably for an inning because he's out of the game in the fourth or fifth inning. So spring training numbers are kind of skewed. Once you get to your season, that's when scouting reports are really used. In spring training, they're not using scouting reports because everybody's trying to get ready for their season. So, young guys in particular can kind of take advantage of spring training, ambush guys, take advantage of that first pitch fastball right down the middle. But once you get into your season and they have a scouting report on you, then you start and you're going to need to make adjustments. You're constantly making adjustments, whether you're the rookie, whether you're in year 3, whether you're in year 10, 12, 15, you're always making adjustments. So that's why I never kind of look at spring training as far as the numbers, because the veteran guys who know they're going to make the team, they're working on things, making sure they're prepared for that long season. Young guys, which they should be doing, they're trying to impress and make sure that, hey, remember me in spring training? I was hitting 450. Well, I'm in AAA right now, hitting about 305 with 5 bombs. Somebody just got hurt. Yeah, let's bring this guy up. So it's different for every player, though.
Couldn't have said it better, Rock. I think you got a question involving playing the position of second base.
Yeah, it's kind of a two-parter, but it's Jerry. What's going on, by the way, man? Thanks for joining us. Love the background. It's awesome. It's much better than mine right here. But Anyway,
I didn't do this. My sister, my brother Scott's wife and my sister Sarah, they did all this stuff. I didn't do any of that. So
Are those Emmys back there too?
yeah, we don't have to talk about the
Yeah, you got them all. You got them all. Exactly.
You guys don't know how talented Mr. Jerry Hairston Jr. is, and the more and more you get to know him, you're going to find out. But Rock, go ahead with the question.
Guy does it all. Jerry, do you think the transition for Jackson from short to second base, do you think that had anything to do with that? And after we get your answer here, I do want to ask you about the clock you talked about with the front office and kind of how they view that.
Yeah, first of all, that's a great question. Making that transition from the left side of the infield shortstop, I know Jackson played a little bit of third as well, to turning that double play at second base. Yes, it's a whole new ballgame. The balls come off the bat a little different. And I think that's another reason why they want to make sure they start him out in AAA, to make sure he gets his reps in. A lot of reps there at second base. I think he eventually moved to shortstop or the left side of the infield. And there's another guy, Gunnar Henderson, who I absolutely love. I love Gunnar Henderson. He's one of my favorite players to watch. But back to Jackson, he's a guy that they want to make sure he gets enough reps. That way he is comfortable. Listen, big league game is a lot faster than spring training, a lot faster than AA and AAA. You got to be on. Okay, we talk about scouting reports. There's scouting reports when you're hitting, but there's also scouting reports when you're on defense. You got to be aware of who's hitting, and you got to know where you need to be at certain spots. So I think letting Jackson go down there, play some second base, let him get comfortable, let him get comfortable turning that double play with the back to you, as opposed as a shortstop, you're coming towards the bag and you can see the runner coming at you. Second base, you don't see the guy running at you when you're turning the double play. I know it's a lot different now as opposed to when I played in the 1960s. But it's still a little different.
Yeah, and he did a really good job down there. He made some great defensive plays. People are bringing it up in the chat right now. So he's done great down there, but more reps, I feel like that's never a bad thing. You talked about the clock, though, with how the front office kind of views that. For you, I know you're not a fortune teller, but ideally, when do you think Jackson Holliday will get the call up with him starting in the minor leagues to begin the 2024 season?
Well, you just never know, especially injuries can happen. You hate to say that, but that's just the nature of this business. People get injured. I just think that, if they do feel like the clock is an issue, and if I'm talking about the front office and they don't want to start his clock, and let's say he does get off to a fast start in AAA and is tearing it up, I think the very next day after that clock is over and done with, I think he gets called up. Obviously, the Baltimore Orioles are a very talented team. They're young, energetic. I think they're the team to beat in the AL East. They have to factor that in. I think they are. So if, let's say, the Orioles get off to a little of a slow start and Jackson's tearing it up, they may say, you know what, forget the clock. We need to win some ball games. So there's a lot of different factors. So the thing is, Jackson needs to just go down there, do his thing, take care of business. He's going to have a long career. He's set up great there with a really good organization. And I think, and Ryan, I know we talked about this a couple weeks ago. I think if I'm a Baltimore Orioles fan, I am ecstatic with the new ownership group coming in. And now with this young, energetic team. Guys, I'm on the West Coast. And the last year or so, I've really kind of checked in on my app, seeing how the Orioles are playing, because they're just a fun team to watch. And now Jackson's coming along too, along with the Gunnar Hendersons. It's just a great time to be an Oriole fan.
And you know what? We're right. And that's the positive here. Remember this with today's day. And if you don't believe us saying it, at least believe Jerry Hairston Jr. being around. Jerry knows this is, and Jerry, no offense, you went through some dark days in Baltimore where it wasn't great. And you are one that can appreciate and looking at it like, this is a great time. This is a great time for fans, with the new changes coming, with the talent on the team. It's vibes are high in Baltimore, but everyone needs to have a little bit of perspective. Right? Yeah. Right, Zach? Take a deep breath.
Yeah, exactly. Everyone needs to take a deep breath. It's going to be okay. Jackson Holliday will be up here eventually.